So now we're done with the letters that look like English and sound like English. So let's move on now to the letters that look like English but are way different. Again, these are our wolves in sheep's clothing. So let's start with the eta. Now it looks like the letter H in English, but in fact it makes a long E sound as in seek. Again, this is the eta. So it's not an H, but a long E. Next, we have a letter that looks like P in English, but in fact it is the equivalent of the letter R. This is the rho, and it's R as in red. Next, we have the sema, which looks like the letter C, and of course the letter C in English can have an S sound or it can have a K sound. So for instance, cat has a C which sounds like a K, but in Coptic it's always pronounced as an S. It never has a K sound. So it's always S as in seed. It always makes the S sound. So this is the sema. It can also be pronounced like a Z as in zoo in words that are of Greek origin that are used in the Coptic language. We know that the Coptic language has borrowed some words from the Greek language, and especially when the sema is followed by a me, then it will take a Z sound in these Greek origin words. Next, we have a letter that looks like the letter X, but it is not pronounced like X in Coptic. This is the K. And with the K, the original pronunciation in Greek is somewhere between a ch, a KH sound, and a sh, an SH sound. But we've adopted it a little differently in the Coptic language. So for instance, in Coptic words or Greek words that are part of the Coptic language, it can simply sound like a k sound, a k sound. In some cases, when it's followed by an a, an eta, a iota, or another letter, the epsilon, which we're going to study later, it can take an sh sound. Otherwise, it can be just pronounced as ch, a kh, ch. Next, we have a letter that looks like W, but in fact it is the long O. So we talked about the short O before. The short O, remember, had a shorter sound to it like hope, comb. It didn't endure as long when you say it. Here now we have a long O as in board. It's got a broad, longer sound than comb, hope. Now we have long O as in board. So here, this letter, the long O, takes on that longer sound. Finally, we have a letter that looks like the letter T in English, but we've seen the letter T already in the tav, and again, that made the sound T as in take. But here, this letter is not T, but it is actually pronounced T. So, as it stands alone as a letter, it's pronounced as T, not T. We'll see some examples of that.